Hello and welcome back. We're now at the point where we can start turning our picture into toolpaths that the Larkin computer router can engrave for us and cut shapes out and do all kinds of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So along the top again, we're going to select toolpaths, and this time there's all kinds here, but the one we're going to be worried about today is contour. So the name here pops up. It doesn't really matter what it's called. You go ahead and click OK. The first thing we're going to do is do the engraving toolpath. We're going to select everything we have on our screen, and we're going to do that by changing our selection method to window. Then we can go ahead and just click and drag and draw a window around everything we want to do. And it says sketch approximate start point. Go ahead and pick wherever you like. I don't care. That pops up. We have now selected 62 chains in our contour. It doesn't really matter, but we go ahead and click OK now. Another window is going to pop up. It says 2D toolpaths. So toolpath type is the first thing to select, and of course we're going to select contour because that's what we were doing. The next thing we have to do, we're going to go down through most of these, not all, but we're going to select our tool. So you'll see there are no tools right now, so we're going to select tool library. Now we're doing engraving, so we're going to select a 1/16 inch straight bit. And we're going to go ahead and click OK, and there it is for us. Holder needs nothing. The next thing we have to do is go to cut parameters. And for some reason we need to turn the compensation type to off. I don't know why, but we do. We do not need to do depth cuts at this point, and we can also click on lead in, lead out and uncheck that box. We do not need that to happen. The rest of this is okay until we get to linking parameters. Now we click on that button and we go over here and we change these all to absolute. And we're going to make the depth of our cut negative because we want to cut into our wood, 0.03. And we're going to go ahead and click OK, and that will give us our toolpath for engraving. Okay. The next thing we need to do is to do another toolpath, and that toolpath is going to be to cut out the clock. So instead of us having to try and go to a bandsaw and make a circle really well, we can use the computer to cut this circle for us. And it'll turn out a lot better, trust me. I have a hard time cutting circles on a bandsaw. So again, we're going to go over to toolpaths, select contour. This time we can be on the chain type, and we're only going to select the outer circle here. And you'll notice a little green arrow popped up over here indicating the direction. That's good. And we go ahead and click the OK button here, the green check mark. We pop up back to this screen again, toolpath type contour. Our tool is going to be a 1/4 inch bit this time. So we have to go back to select tool library, and we're going to select a 1/4 inch straight bit. Okay? And we'll go ahead and click OK. Got a few other things to do here. Cut parameters, compensation still off, that's good. This time we do have to do depth cuts. I can't cut through a 1/2 inch piece of plywood in one shot, so I check that depth cuts box. And then my maximum rough step is going to be 0.125, or 1/8 of an inch. So if I punched 1 divided by 8 into a calculator, I would get this decimal. All right? And same thing, no lead in, lead out, no breakthrough, no multi-passes. This time we want to add tabs though. So we're going to click on that word, and we're going to check the tabs button there. That brings everything up. Now, the first thing we're going to do is change the size of our tab, and we're going to make it 1.25 inches wide and 0.25 of an inch thick. So it's nice and thick and will hold the wood into position. Next we have to position our tabs, so we go ahead and we're under manual, we click position. We want to tell it where we want to put these tabs, and I like to put them in the corner, so you'll see the circle will turn yellow, and there's your tab, those yellow lines. We'll go ahead and click there once. It says select chain, add tabs. We're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to put them in all 4 corners. Alright, now it says press enter when done, so 4 tabs, we're good, I'm done. I hit enter, there we go. And next we have to go back to our linking parameters. We have to, all these will be absolute again, and the only thing we need to do is to make our depth negative 0.51, because our wood is going to be 0.5 thick, so we need to dig in at least 0.5 and then a little bit more to cut all the way through. At this point, we are done this part, and we should go ahead and click the OK button. You'll now notice that we have all of these yellow lines on here, and we're going to just make sure that everything is working and cutting the way we want it to. So we go back to the Operations Manager, and if we hover over these things here, we're going to select all operations. You'll see there's a green check mark on this folder and this folder. Both toolpaths are now selected. Every time you push the Regenerate All Selected Operations, it just cleans things up and gets them ready. Now we move over to Verify Selected Operations. This is going to allow us to, the computer will simulate the router cutting out the piece of wood. So we're going to go ahead and push that, and you'll see the piece of wood come up, which is green in this case. And we're going to push the Machine button, and it's going to simulate the router cutting into the piece of plywood. So we're going to go ahead and push OK. And it's going to start engraving and doing all its things. And we'll just stop that now. We'll go right to the end, and it'll show us here exactly what it's going to do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click OK at this point. We're happy with that.